Love them or hate them, bosses are a bit like the founding fathers of this wonderful medium we call video games, filling screens and fueling nightmares since time immemorial, or the 70s as time immemorial is otherwise known. Sometimes bosses are really hard. Sometimes they're really lovely and killing them makes us feel sad. And sometimes they're a big, irregularly shaped bag of what the effing F is that? Mind tricks, psychological horror, a massive demon whale thing. Some bosses just take the video game design 101 handbook, eat it, and then grow some extra arms where their back should be. So to celebrate, here are the 7 most WTF bosses in video games, and we'll start with Metal Gear. It's not Psycho Mantis though. I mean, he'd seen the obvious choice, wouldn't he? What with the S&M clothing, the floating about and the reading your mind, but I feel he's more what the hell than what the fudge. No, our first entry is the iconic Cyborg Ninja, an enigmatic stealth camo wearing masochist who reveals himself to the world by doing this.
What? My hand! Who are you?
I like you. I have no name.
Cool, that makes sense. Ninja then does a spot of interior decorating.
I mean, you would just turn around and go back, wouldn't you?
Before inviting Snake into his office for a nice, mad punch-up, saying ridiculous things like,
I've been waiting for this pain.
And then it turns out that Cyborg Ninja is actually Grey Fox, a dead former colleague of Snake's whose corpse has been reanimated thanks to an exoskeleton and genetically engineered sentience. What the f***? Final Fantasy is another series with its fair share of wacky character designs. Here's Queen Aquen from Final Fantasy IX. But in terms of bosses, the most outrageous has to be Sin, a marauding city-sized sea creature that can also fly, which apparently is the physical manifestation of the entire world's naughtiness sent to punish the people of Spira by ruining their favourite holiday destinations.
They should have cast Protect. No, Shell actually. Shell for magical attacks.
Whereas most Final Fantasy arch nemeses are human-ish with familiar, easily hateable character traits like God Complex or Mad Clown and Whiny Emo, Sin's just a balloon of evil blubber. I'm not even sure he is evil. Maybe he's like a dog that just doesn't know his own strength and who comes bouncing over when he sees lots of people, but in his excitement fires off a massive energy blast that destroys everything for miles around. Oh yeah, and he has a little town on his back too. Our next entry is just one speck of weird in the shining galaxy of oddness that is The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. It's Isaac versus Mum, a horrible, veiny, lumpen representation of our protagonist's cruel and abusive mother that stomps her leathery, high-heeled legs about the place, ominously calling our hero as if he just needs to come downstairs for dinner. Isaac! She's a true monster, her bulbous eye always watching, her grasping, doughy hand, and just the mere fact it's Isaac's brain-addled mother trying her utmost to murder her own son.
It's just really horrible, isn't it? The most horrible thing, probably, in a game about a naked, crying child.
Let's make things more cheerful then with a psychotic doctor who wears a horrible Hessian bag on his head and sprays toxin at people that gives them hallucinogenic visions of their greatest fears. Hooray! It's Scarecrow from Batman Arkham Asylum, an utter madman who plays with the mind of you, the player, as much as he does the mind of Batman.
He does Batman's mind first by giving the Dark Knight visions of his dead parents inside body bags.
Father, you should have stood up to his son. Like a man.
Cool.
Then he starts to mess with the game itself. The morgue starts to dissolve, and all of a sudden you're playing a side-scrolling platformer against a giant Scarecrow who has flaming headlights for eyes.
Have some of this searchlight then, you big sack-faced git.
This won't be the last you see of Scarecrow, however. He comes back for more side-scrolling and, most memorably, makes you think the game has completely broken during this notorious fake boot-up sequence where you play as the Joker for a little bit and then die. Next up...
Ah, Temporantia, manipulator of wind.
Shut up, Temporantia. Have a fistful of god hair in your stupid concrete face. Also, a lorry. To be fair, we could have picked any boss from Bayonetta, a typically bonkers, typically brilliant liquid action brawler from Genre Masters Platinum Games, but we've gone for old rocky, stained glass, tentacled hourglass man Temporantia because, well, just look at him for goodness sake. Also, the method Bayonetta uses to dispatch her preposterous Frankenfoe is one of my absolute favourites.
Bye, Temporantia, manipulator of wind.
And hello, Bitores Mendez from Resident Evil 4. You look nice and normal, especially for a Resident Evil bad guy. How about you burn to death? Suck it, Bitores Mendez. Suck the fire.
Hello, Bitores Mendez.
That's more like it, isn't it? A boss with a weird elongated spine, arms growing out of his shoulders, lots of arms, and the head of an angry hipster. WTF indeed. Thankfully, being weird doesn't mean you're impervious to Leon S. Kennedy and his hunky man guns, however, so, you know, die. Lovely.
Last entry on the list then, and I think it's safe to say we've saved the most WTF boss until last. Although it would be even safer to say that while hiding in a cupboard watching said boss do unspeakable things to demon nurses.
It's Silent Hill 2's Pyramid Head, of course, iconic, terrifying, a faceless symbol of protagonist James Sutherland's desire to punish himself for his wife Mary's death. The fact he's born of James' psyche doesn't stop old Triangle Face from sticking his horrible spear all over the place, however. Here he is, sticking it in Maria, again, and here he is with a twin he never told us about, gearing up for a lovely 2-on-1 boss fight.
I know the truth. Now it's time to end this.
It's hard to call playing Silent Hill 2 enjoyable despite its undeniable brilliance, and Pyramid Head is one of the main reasons I spent the entirety of my playtime feeling as though I was drowning in a swimming pool of despair, which is the whole point, I suppose, so well done, Silent Hill 2. As for you, Pyramid Head, WTF. There we go, 7 bosses that will have you swearing in bewilderment and possibly crying. We hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if we've missed out your favourite boss weirdo. Leave us a like because that would be nice, and subscribe for more of these videos every Friday. Thanks for watching and see you next week.